So the idea of comedy being this sort of very, open space for the good, the bad, and the ugly about comedians' lives and thereby all of our lives to sort of come out was very appealing to us, right? And so me and other producers under the Heartbeat umbrella said, what about if we, really asked the questions to say comedians' brains are so complex and so beautiful, but also so fraught in so many ways. And in this moment, when mental health is such a huge topic of conversation and deservedly so, how do we match that conversation with what the Heartbeat brand does very well, right? And further that conversation and make people feel okay talking about it. So that was the why. And then the who, it was so funny in the movie. You hear like, wow, Atsuko, I think says like, we're all very mentally ill comedians.
Yeah.
I guess that's but no, it wasn't that at all. It was people whose material we responded to and who were brave enough in their material to really talk about mental health struggle. And so that was the selection process.
Don't lie, we were the best.
And you were the best,
Yeah.
of course. That
We were
goes
the
without
funniest,
saying.
bestest,
That goes without
cutest.
saying. Come on.
Yes. He's correct. We were the best. Yeah.
And from your perspective, you were approached and...
Yeah, no, honestly, so Heartbeat, this man and the company that he works for, Kevin Hart's company, they are the best people in the world. I love them to bits. So if they said, London, be in this paper bag, I would be in the paper bag. I will do anything for them. They've literally supported my career since I got here. Heartbeat produced my Netflix special, which you saw clips of in the film, called To Catch a Dick. Watch it, it's really funny. And essentially, after that, we've always worked together. We've got so many projects in the pipeline, and I got the call about this one. I was apprehensive, though, because I'm just used to being funny. It's like my natural thing. It's just like, some people are not comfortable. Like right now, are you comfortable sitting here in front of these people? I am at home. I could sit here all day. This is the most comfortable, when I was sitting there in the dark, chilling. Horrible. I love this. This is what I live for. So for me, I'm so comfortable with the lights on me, camera on me, let's go. Being charming, being funny, being myself. And the director, Neil, was like, no, you have to be vulnerable. And I was just like, it was hard for me to just sit there and just be like, not be funny. Even watching it back, he'll tell you, I'm going, I should have said that. I was funnier. I should have been funnier than Tig. In my brain, I'm just like, my default of just being myself, I don't know, maybe it's like an insecurity. I think that just being me isn't good enough. So this film is the first and only film where you'll just see me being me, okay? Just no airs and graces, vulnerable, no jokes, just like me in its raw dog form. And that was scary to be a part of and allow myself to be a part of, but I'm really glad I did it. So. Thanks, Queen. And I'm sorry you're uncomfortable. We can I'll make it better for you if you need me to be. Okay, that's good. You're doing very well.
Thank you.
No worries.
You can hear my mic's on good? Okay. So you're based here in LA, London.
Yes.
But you're from the UK.
Yes.
And British humor, is known to be a bit darker maybe than American humor. Have you noticed a difference in the way that people and comedians talk about mental health in comedy and then just in general mental health?
Just what, in terms of in their stand-up or just both. Or who they are as people, because comedians are the most mentally ill people in the world. They are messed up. To want to go on stage and go, hi, strangers, laugh at me. There's something wrong with that, I feel like. The fact that that's something I'm enjoying to do, I want to do. I think when it comes to Britain and America, Americans are happier than Brits. I think they're on more drugs, but I'm being serious. You lot are way more drugs. But for that reason, you are happier. And also, there's free healthcare in the UK. So, we have access to the drugs, but we don't need it. But you guys, I don't know why that is, but they're on drugs. They're happier. And I feel like in the UK, okay, so if you look at culturally, there's the American dream. It's reach for the stars and live your best life and the American dream and go for it. And in the UK, there's no dream. There's just our motto is keep calm and carry on, keep humble, don't give up the day job. Because we have a monarchy, we've been, culturally, we've been raised to be worker ants. We support the Queen, or the King. Oh shit, she died. The King. I've been here too long. The Queen's not even there anymore. We support the King. That's the first time I've said that. like, we support the king and our, sounds wrong, and our not theme tune, what's it? Anthem. Our anthem is God Save the King. And so it's not like America's anthem, it's all, you're talking about you lot, right? You're like, we love America, yes. I don't know what your anthem is, but
That's
you know,
it. That was it.
We
You
love
did it.
America, yes.
Yeah.
So we love America, yes. It's talking about the American people. Whereas like God Save the King, they don't give a fuck about us. It's just save the king. It's like whatever we do, save the king. And I think that's very much like, so if you're mentally ill, you're tired, it don't matter, keep going. So comedians in the UK, they're not really on stage talking about they're on Zoloft or doing all of that stuff and all their drugs and whatever. They're kind of like trying to pretend they're okay. Whereas in America, even though you guys are like drugged up and happier, you are more honest and open, and like even the story of Tig going on stage and talking about all of that led to one like being redeemed as like the best set she's ever done, you know, and like just being vulnerable and just it's okay not to be okay. That's very an American thing. Like in the UK, just shut up, okay? Shut up and pay the bills.
I
So
think
it's very
that's
different.
recently an American thing, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
good.
I think that things like this movie, right, and these conversations,
Yeah.
this is not
You
15,
weren't
20
doing that
years
before?
ago. People were
Really?
like, "No, you're crazy. You're going to see a therapist." Like this community of like very sort of open comedians may have been talking about it,
Right.
but people on the street,
No.
no.
The average American's
Average
not.
Americans not talking about their Zoloft.
Really?
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
shameful, I would
Yeah.
say.
Is it
yeah.
still, you
I
think
mean,
so?
Not as much, but you know, conversations like these make it less so.
Right.
Yeah.
I get that. Well, yeah. Cool.
So British people not as vulnerable. Now we know.
I mean, they're messed up. Listen, the sun only shines like 2 weeks out of the year over there. It's grey skies every day. You got to give them a little bit of that. Do you know what I mean? It's hard times. But yeah, no, Americans are genuinely more. That's why I live here. I live in LA because I wouldn't live anywhere else in the world. I love living here. So,
Okay, well,
yeah.
we love having you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I'd also love to hear, London, had you met any of the fellow comedians in the film before you filmed
I
them?
pretty much met them all apart from Tig, Gary, and obviously Neil, even though he's not a therapist or a comedian. But yes, everybody else I'd gigged with and hung out with and was cool with, and like a great bunch of people.
How was it being vulnerable in front of not just, you know, your fellow comedians,
Yeah.
but you were in front of like a live audience doing that discussion?
That was the best part. It was easier, see, because it is an audience and I can just be performing me. Like it would have been hard if it was just 6 of us in a room with no audience and just like Tig, like, yeah, so I got cancer and my mum died. Like that would have been sad. Like we kind of needed the audience to make the jokes and the like bounce off each other and like have the add-ons and stuff, and like just the energy was lifted, and also the audience were just really understanding. They had all. I think the reason why they were there is because they all had suffered with mental health, or they had a link to
And
mental
they were
health.
also all fans of yours.
Oh,
We had
that's why
different-
they were so nice. Okay.
Different sections of the audience we booked to be like,
Right.
oh, there was like a London section, there was
Oh,
a Tig
cute.
section, and so they all really wanted to hear what you all had to say.
See, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
I
fine.
was going to ask about that decision to bring in an audience and then cut to the interviews versus keeping with the group. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, Luke.
Yeah, so, you know, the idea of this from the get-go was blending this broad performance with vulnerability. It was that contrast that made this movie fun. So in order to execute that, you really had to have some element of live, right? And then in thinking about how we were going to bring that together, it was like, all right, well, do we sell tickets to a weird mental health
Yeah.
performance? No, probably not.
Yeah.
But we do want to curate this audience with people who, yeah, may be struggling, as we all are at some point in our lives, but then also really wanted to hear specifically what the 6 voices in that room had to say, right? And we were anxious about, speaking of anxiety and mental health struggle, everybody on this production was like, is this going to be a disaster? Are people really going to be vulnerable? Are they really going to go there? And and this is you know, tribute to our whole team and our director as well, Neil, everybody did. Everybody went there, as you saw, and it was not like pulling teeth.
No, it was really easy, actually. We were just telling all our business. I said, I shared too much almost. It was a lot. It was a lot.
That's what I was going to say. Were there any, it didn't sound like there were any challenges, but if there weren't any challenges, was there anything particularly magical or special that
Yeah, and
happened?
they didn't put it in the film. I'm still pissed. No, you lot don't understand. I had a moment. Okay? So I was talking in the round table bit. I was talking about I used to get bullied a lot. And I got bullied so much. I got bullied all throughout school, and then all throughout college, and then all throughout university. So I got bullied up until the age of 19, 20. And I started stand-up when I was 19, 20 because I was so depressed from being bullied. And I didn't know why. I was being bullied by my friends. They were jealous haters. I didn't know that at the time. I thought there was something wrong with me. So I'd be like, why don't people like me? What's wrong with me? I kept trying to change for these girls that I lived with that were constantly being mean and bullying me. That I would come home from. I used to work at TGI Fridays, and while I was at university, and I would come home from work and there'd be a house party in my house that I'm not invited to. And I'd literally have to sit in my room while all my friends and people I knew were at my house, and the girls were like, we just don't want you there. And I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna sit in my room. And like, that was my life at university. And I would be like, I was so down. And then I started stand up. I did it for a laugh. I did my university talent show, and I literally didn't put any effort into it. I thought of this joke, like 5-minute set about a video game. I was like, all these guys I was dating were playing at the time. And I made some jokes about that. And I went on stage and like just did it, just for the sake of it. Like, just gonna get it off my chest, nothing big. And I did it. And I got that laughter from strangers. And that first big laugh I got, like, it was like 50 years of therapy all in one. It was like, I'm worth something. Like, it had validated me, you know, just getting the laugh from that. And so I told this story in the movie. Imagine how beautiful. I told it better than how I told it just now. I was rushing it now. I really told the story. And when I got to the bit about the laughter, I went, and the laughter. And I really cried. I weren't fake crying. It was real tears. I got so emotional. And then like I made a little joke, wiped my tear, made a little joke. I can't remember what I said. And everybody laughed, and then everybody clapped. And they didn't put it in the film. So for me, that is the worst part about being in the movie business, is you'll have an amazing scene like that, and the director, Neil, will be like, nah, don't put it in. So yeah, there's bits like that weren't in the film. I need can I see the director's cut? Where's the behind the scenes? I want a DVD extra.
Yeah.
Thank you for the claps.
We need a re-edit.
I want a DVD extra with that bit in it, just because I'm starting to think I made it up. Because I was like, did that really happen?
We're gonna have you go to every screening
Please.
and after do the retelling.
This is
like,
what
live.
I did in Tribeca.
Yeah.
When we did this in Tribeca, they asked me the same question. I said the same story. We'll go Cannes next year. I'll tell them at Cannes that they cut the bit out. It's not fair. But yeah, no. Sorry. It was, yeah. No, it was a really important thing for me, as you could tell. Yes. But it's not in the film. We'll have to imagine.
Let's clap for London now for that.
Thank you. The validation makes me feel better. Thank you.
I'm also curious if you've noticed like an impact or a change in yourself since being in this film and having such a vulnerable conversation with your peers.
Yeah. Well, with our relationships as people, or just me just going out the world?
Yeah, you.
Oh, yeah. So this was my first American movie I'd ever been in. It was my first film premiere. We debuted at Tribeca. My mum came. It was her first time in New York. It was a whole thing. There was more people in the audience than there are today. Like, it was a filled theater, red carpet, everything. It was insane. And sitting there watching it back, and even from when we filmed it, because when did we film it?
May of last year?
May, yeah. So May last year, and then the premiere was June
of this year.
This year. So just watching it a year later, I could see how different and I've become. I'm not even that same girl that was in the film. I'm definitely more open to therapy, definitely more open to being vulnerable, definitely more honest. It let me let down my walls a bit more, and I've always been an open book. Like, my stand-up special is called To Catch a Dick, okay? I talk about sex, dating, but I've never, ever been open about me. I've been open about my sex life, whose faces I'm sitting on, but I'm never open. I'm being so serious. Let's be clear. Like, I'm open about that. I'm never really open about just normal life stuff, like the bullying and just not feeling good enough, or reading the comments for negative things, or thinking I'm ugly. Like, I never talk about that kind of stuff, and now I do. So it's like made me more of a well-rounded human, and I'm very grateful for it. And and I'm happy I got the chance to do it and the whole experience.
Definitely. And give it up.
Thanks, guys.
I'm wondering, for each of you, is there a lasting message that you'd like audiences to take away from the film with?
Yeah, I want London to end. Talk about it. Talk about the things that you're struggling with. Doesn't have to be on a movie screen. that would be very scary for most people, I think. But it can be to your friends, it can be to your family, it can be to your therapist. Everybody else is struggling too, whether at this moment or at some point in their lives. And having that conversation, starting that conversation, will help you and them more than you'll ever know.
Yeah, I second that. And also, just for me, all the other comedian stories, they're very like. I felt unworthy of being in this film originally because their stories were, to me, more serious than mine. And, you know, like, my mum doesn't have schizophrenia. I didn't jump out of a window. Like, literally the things that you talk about, I don't have a problem with. I'm not even on any drugs. Like, I'm just perfect, you know? I'm asthmatic, and I've got no gag reflex. Like, that is the things I bring to the table. And thank you. And so, for me, I was like, what am I doing in here talking about, oh, you know, I couldn't really get work in the UK? Because I just didn't think that story wasn't, I didn't think my story was important enough, as important as theirs. And since the film's come out, the feedback from people just being like, I resonated so much with what you had to say. Women, men, black, white, doesn't matter. We've all felt insecure. We've all felt not good enough. And we've all felt that, you know, we had to be someone else to be successful, or we couldn't just exist as ourselves in our own skin. And so it was really nice that I got to tell that story. And it's kind of what I didn't know. This is what I wanted people to take from the film, that, you know, we're all going through something, and even hot celebrities like me, we're all the same. And hopefully, if anyone resonated with what I was saying, hopefully it will inspire them to get through it. They're fine, they're okay. They could end up just like London Hughes one day. Who knows? No, but honestly, I just wanted people to just feel something, and hopefully they took away from what I had to say. So. Yeah.
Definitely. We do have to wrap things up, but before we do, I'd love to hear what's next for the film, and then also what's next for each of you.
Oh, God. What's next for the film?
Okay, so what's next for the film? We have a couple more wonderful festival screenings coming up, top and mid next year. And then I think sometime in Q1 of next year, date still TBD, there will be the streaming release, which you'll hear more about.
Wait, I can't wait for the streaming release.
I know, you don't even know yet. You don't even know
what?
yet. You don't even
We
know
haven't
yet.
spoken about the
Come
streaming.
on now. Come on now. Come on now.
Shit. It's getting serious now.
You'll
The
be able to share
streaming?
it with friends and family.
Oh, my God.
And
All
we'll
my
do a
exes
bonus
are gonna be
feature where
so
London
jealous.
tells her story.
Yes. There needs to be the bonus bit. Please
That's
add
right.
that in the streaming one,
That's
please.
right.
Thank you. That's great. That's good to know. Thank you for telling me that.
What's next for you,
Oh,
London?
I can't announce it. Big stuff coming. Movies, TV shows. I currently have a book out. It's called Living My Best Life, Hun. Following Your Dreams is no joke. And it's literally the story of how I became the first British woman to have a Netflix special, and I happen to be black. So that was a feat. So I talk about that and how it all happened. And just all the bullying stuff is in there, and just self-love. It's kind of a self-help but autobiography memoir. It's funny. There's dick jokes. It's all in there. You can get it in Barnes & Noble, Amazon ebook. I did you know when you do the talking over it, what's it called? The voice book. Audio book. There we go. I did the audio book. That was funny. I had to talk about my first blowjob, and I shouldn't have. I know. I literally didn't know that you had to suck it. I just blew on it because, listen, I always lower the tone at these things. I'm sorry. Get the book. Live My Best Life, Hun. It's Barnes & Noble's Book of the Year, so Comedy Book of the Year. So that was great. And so you can get that and just watch this space. More London Hughes coming. So, yeah.
Yes, we'll give it up for London and Luke and group
Thanks,
therapy.
guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for coming out.